Hello and welcome back to the Beer Jerk Drink Along. I'm Matt,
And I'm Luke.
and today for our Beer of the Week subscription, we're drinking a beer that is very close to our hearts.
It's a pretty good beer, I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon it's really nice. So,
This beer was brewed by Heyday down in Wellington on Cuba Street.
in
and
collaboration with us,
The Small Gods.
This is a Small Gods and Heyday collaboration, and it is a Japanese cold IPA called Basabasa. Now, those of you who've been Beer Jerk members for a little while, well, not even that long of a while, since the beginning of the year, will have tried Chupacabra, which was our Mexican cold IPA that we released in around January, February. Oh, we brewed it in January, I think. And this is the follow-up. So it is a spiritual successor using a lot of the same techniques and philosophies that went into Chupacabra. And it's just same, but different.
Yeah, so we love Chupacabra. It was a very unusual beer. And as you will remember from drinking it, the idea was that it's the base of a Mexican corn lager, heavily hopped with Neo-Mexicanos hops. So for this one, we took inspiration from Japan and their mass-produced macro beers, which is Japanese rice lager, which are beautiful, really light-bodied, crisp, easy-drinking beers that taste like watery nothing, but really well made. And they often have around 20 or 30% rice in there. And we used Sriracha Ace, which is a pretty unique and quite unusual hop.
Yeah, so for that rice lager base, we used 3 different kinds of rice in there. We used flaked rice, puffed rice, which is the same as your Rice Krispies.
Rice
What
Krispies,
are they called here? Rice Pops?
rice pops maybe?
Riceys?
Yeah.
Whatever you call them, that's what they are.
Terrible reference.
And a rice syrup. So we got the rice in there 3 different ways, and you can really kind of feel that in the cleanliness of that malt base. It's so crisp and clean, gets out of the way.
Well, people talk about using corn in a lager or rice in a lager. Why did they do that?
So basically, it provides the sugars that barley does with less character and different character. I think also it's used by big adjunct brewers like your Bud Lights and your Asahis and your Sapporos and your Coronas because it's cheaper. On a small scale, it's actually not that much cheaper, or if it's cheaper at all.
Yeah,
those bulk contracts to make the most of it. So it's also used in those lagers because a lot of those big lager brewers want beers that taste as close to nothing as they can get away with, because flavour upsets people, and but for this, we didn't do it because we want it to be flavourless. we did that because we want those flavours from the hops to really be able to sing out, and it provides that clean, refreshing, crisp, dry base, because they also ferment super dry. So it really gives you that kind of platform to allow the hops to sing.
Yeah, it's really light, it's really crisp. It's got all the best things about a light, crisp lager, but it's got flavour in spades. We really went all out on the hopping here, but also like Chupacabra, I suppose the perceived bitterness is higher than it actually is, just because it's the bitterness of the hops isn't working against the sweetness and sort of the roundness of the body of the malts. It's just flying along on this really light body.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, as Luke mentioned, the hops that we chose were super interesting, and Sriracha Ace is the one that's really driving the bulk of the character here. And it's a unique hop that is super divisive. I had a few chats with various brewers about this beer, and they were like, "You used what? You used Sriracha Ace? That's disgusting." But
People hate it.
But I love Sriracha Ace. I think it's really interesting. I used to hate it, but I've done a full 180 on that. It's got these really interesting notes of kind of dill and coconut. It's kind of this kind of interesting herbal character, which is unique. And then we backed that up with some Mochueca hops. And for those of you paying attention, we've actually used the same batch of Mochueca hops that we used in our New Zealand Pilsner, because we really like that kind of citrus lime character that gave. And we also used a cryo lemon drop. So again, really trying to dial up that citrus character with the hops there.
And it was a really fun beer to brew. It's really fantastic to work with the Heyday team. So it's Ash, who's the head brewer, and Tyler, who works in the brewery as well. And yeah, just really good people. Right in the middle of Wellington, they're at the top of Cuba Street. If you haven't been there, you should definitely go up and visit.
Yeah, it's a fantastic little brew pub. They've got a nice outdoor area. It's the really vibrant pastel coloured one. You can't miss it. They do a really interesting range of beers actually. So there's usually some eclectic stuff on there. You may have seen their Sailor's Grave collaboration, Double Troubling, that we recently put out in the Trans-Tasman collaborational. So yeah, really easy to get to if you're in Wellington, like most of the Wellington breweries.
Yeah,
but yeah, definitely worth checking out.
And really fantastic to work with Hannah, who's one of the founders at Heyday, and the artist. So she works on all the artwork. So you might have realised that at Small Gods we're pretty into packaging design, and we spent a lot of time thinking about the concepts of the beers in general, but also the story behind them, the mythology, the history, and the actual arts. We work with different interesting artists and designers. So really cool to partner with Heyday, and just Hannah came up with this incredible illustration based on an idea we had on, I suppose, reading about Japanese mythology and a lot of the crazy stories. So this image is a giant fire-breathing chicken that breathes cold fire. You can see it's blue, and the noise the chicken makes is Basabasa.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the sound of it ruffling its wings.
And it's invisible as well, right?
And it's not invisible, but it disappears if you look at it. So
yes, that's
may
it,
as
yeah.
well be. We had a lot of fun researching for this beer, around the story and the mythology behind it. If you want to have a dig into the amount of Japanese spirits and deities and associated mythologies, check out the Wikipedia page. It is incredible.
All kinds of wonderful creatures.
Just like the old woman who knocks on your door, and if you open it, you die, and if you look at her through the window, you die, and it's like, and that's the whole spirit. And
it has a name.
And the little boy who cries in the rain, and just like all these kind of, well, it's small gods really. It's like these little spirits and there's little stories around them. There are dozens, hundreds of them, and they're all fascinating. So me and Luke both wasted a lot of time when we should have been doing more productive work, reading all these stories to try and find the right one. And we sent a few options through to the Heyday team, and Hannah kind of connected with our lovely ghost fire breathing chicken.
Yeah, Heyday definitely more on the cuter end of the spectrum when it comes to their packaging design, rather than the freaky, scary, weird stuff that we sometimes lean towards.
Yeah, a lot of those stories on that Japanese mythology page are freaky and weird. It's awesome. I can't stress enough how much you should check out that Wikipedia page.
We'll stick a link in the NZ Beer Jerks Facebook group, so you can check something right there. If you're not a member, you could go to NZ Beer Jerks on Facebook and join that group.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, Heyday do a wonderful job with. Hannah's pretty into cats, and
there's a whole cat thing going on.
Yeah, you really see that when you look at their labels. Really cool artwork. And yeah, interesting that Matt mentioned that a lot of these major macro brewers use things like corn or rice in the beers to make them cheaper. In this instance, it was very expensive to use a lot of rice, and the Heyday team weren't overly happy with the recipe that we sort of put together with them. They said it was the most expensive beer that they've ever brewed. So I hope you enjoy it, because it's quite a spendy beer to put together.
Yeah, but
I think it's good, Matt.
Yeah, we think it's worth it. I've been drinking a lot of it. Just that it's characterful, it's smashable, it's got bitterness and structure. But it's got those interesting floral, citrus, hop notes coming through. So yeah, at 7.7%, so it's not shy either. But it does not feel like it. You can drink a lot of this without realizing that you're drinking what's essentially a double IPA. Really, we probably should have put double IPA on the label.
Yeah.
It's a beer we're really happy with, and we hope you're enjoying it.
And in other news, we launched the premium advent calendar last week.
Advent calendar season is here, you people.
Did we chat about it last week, or did we launched it yet?
No, you talked about it last week.
Oh yeah, we just meowed for 10 minutes.
Advent calendar season is here, you guys. It's great. It's the best box of beer we do every year. It's if you haven't had it before, it's the most exciting box of beer that we put together every year. 24 different beers from 24 different breweries. That you open one a day in the lead up to Christmas. It's got a bunch of exclusive new releases, international imports, and we put a lot of effort into making it the best beer experience of the year. We do a daily video about every beer, and it is super limited. So if you want to get in, make sure that you don't leave it till the last minute, because it will sell out.
And it really is limited. We're not bullshitting you there. We're importing quite a few of the beers that are going to be really interesting. So there's just a set number. We can't get more. And some of the beers have been brewed especially for the calendar. So when it's sold out, that's just it gone. And every year, we've been doing this for years now, the Advent calendar. A lot of people have FOMO, and I can see why, because they're 24 beers that most of them you can't get elsewhere. We have a lot of exclusives in there. So if you're into new experiences and new flavours, you do not want to sleep on it. We sold out really early last year as well.
Yeah, we sold out before the end of October last year. So make sure you don't sleep on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, one of the ways we sum it up both ways. The beer jerk experience, what you're enjoying with us right now, is the Advent calendar experience in a microcosm. So the Advent calendar is this every day.
Treat yourself.
You got all the wild and interesting styles, all the cool and rare breweries, all the FaceTime with me and Luke on video. You don't have to watch that if you don't want to, but all of that beer jerk experience that you get once a week, you get once a day during December to really kind of amp up your lead into the summer season.
It is awesome.
It is.
And good segue, the summer season. It's getting a bit warmer, so we have opened the Fridge and Flagon again for Saturdays only. So we used to be open 7 days a week here at the Fridge and Flagon, but right now we're just open Saturdays. We might open for some more days as the weather gets better, but I mean, yeah, the spring and summer is really the time to come and visit us here. So the Fridge and Flagon is just our warehouse bar where we're standing at the moment. And last week we had a beer festival. We had all the Trans-Tasman beers pouring. This week we've got a DJ coming. I might DJ Dead Click. We're going to have food trucks coming through the summer and just different beer releases. So every Saturday from 12 o'clock till 8 p.m, you can come and see us on the Auckland Beer Mile and drink some beer in our very glamorous warehouse bar.
So glamorous. And if you're not in Auckland and you can't make it and you need some beer to drink in the meantime, the Spring Drop has just been released.
Oh, yeah.
So it's our new collection of 12 seasonal beers. I'm really excited about this one, actually. It's got a bunch of great beers in it. It's got Garage Project's new Phantasm Pilsner.
I haven't had it yet.
I know.
Have you had it?
No, I can't. It's in the box.
Yeah,
I've got to
yeah.
buy the whole thing. I've got to wait for my paycheck to come through. And yeah, it's got a bunch of Pilsners, a bunch of IPAs. It's got some Mount Brewing in there.
Yeah.
We've got
Little Thief versus Damaged Goods. Most confusing name in New Zealand beer.
Yeah, but one of the little guys that you don't see around
Yeah.
very often. Check that out on the website or on our socials. There's a bunch of great beers in there. Yeah. It's $79 delivered, so it's an absolute bargain.
Yeah, with free shipping, that's a super price.
Yeah, and it's a really nice way to lead into spring if you're looking for something to drink right now.
All right, thank you for joining us. We really hope that you enjoyed Basabasa. I've certainly enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. We'll see you next time.